this that new drugs do harm than good to nations' overall health, a study shows. Well, yeah, I mean that's like I don't know why they have to have a study to show that. I mean, every time you see a new medicine being advertised, you know how they always do in a kind of a setting where
Right.
somebody's talking, they're in a family setting, and it comes up and it says it gives you the whole list of things
And
what
the
it's used
first
for. Yeah,
usually the top
yeah.
side effect is death.
Yeah,
Right.
and they put it in there, but yeah, I mean, they come out with more drugs all the time, and they're released. They're when they're advertising, it's been like they met approval, right, through
Right.
the FDA process. And then after a few months, you find out a recall of that, and then you got these ads coming up from these different law firms. If you or your loved one may be either received injuries or died during the use of this, contact our law offices. You may be entitled to a compensation. I mean, it's like I don't know why they keep on churning out all these drugs. I mean, we know.
They come out and they're extremely high priced, and they play them out. They make all the money off. They make because it costs probably
Billions.
pennies to make the stuff,
Right.
and they're probably selling it for thousands of dollars per pill, or at least a couple of $100. And they can make all this money, and I'm sure they put bank enough of it for for lawsuits
Yeah.
and different things and class actions, so that they don't care. It's part of the process. They're just money skimmers. It's like we talked about for high blood pressure. They're always coming out with new stuff, but what do they use? What's their fail safe? It's usually the
Diuretics.
water
Yeah,
pills,
the
the
water pill.
Right.
diuretics, because
Right.
that's what works best for people. But the doctors are pushing the crappy ones first.
Because
Whatever they get the most kickback on, they're going to push it.
another thing is too, I mean, all the free, I mean, yeah, I mean, I've been told by my friend, I had a couple of girlfriends I dated, they were like, they worked at the doctor's offices and they said, you won't believe the pharmacy reps come in and all the sweet stuff that you go on trips. They bring in lunches for them, bring in some like catered dinners and stuff for them, all kinds of knickknacks and stuff with their logo on it and stuff. Yeah. And it's just a huge amount of money being spent to push these drugs and doctors will just, they don't even try to test it or saying, well, my patients are fine being served well with what we got already. They just jump on board. I mean, there's like an eager approach to grab these drugs, and I just think I think it's basically novelty. That's what it's like. The noveltiness of it me impresses me. I don't know,
And the money,
and the money. Well,
money first.
Pharmaceuticals is the biggest business out
well,
there.
Well,
hate to
one thing
think-
that Trump did say during, I don't know which interview it was, but they brought up that um, the drug industry are always pushing their drugs on TV, and we're one of the only countries, if not the only country, that allows drug companies
to do
to.
that.
Yeah, I mean, how sponsoring NFL games or soccer games.
years ago, I remember but there's a move afoot to try to get the process to get approval from the FDA, streamlined to get these drugs quicker out to the people. And I never questioned that because I figured, it was like there were probably some drugs,
But after the
yeah,
vaccines, I think it should take 10 years to for drugs to come out. Especially, people shouldn't trust doctors anymore
don't.
after everything that we know.
No, I mean it's fleshed out too. I mean, they think doctors are all knowing, just like nutrition. Nutrition, they're not trained
But
on for
now
sufficiently.
they're corporate frontmen now. Also,
Yeah.
they work for mega corporations like McLaren.
Yep.
What's another one?
All
Henry
the
Ford.
Ascension.
Ascension.
Yeah.
Ascension now.
And I was-
now it's
Yeah,
Henry
they're
Ford.
they're
Henry
they're
Ford, yeah.
big corporations. They're going to own everything, and you're not going to be able to sue anymore because they're going to be so big that no lawyer. They probably have. It was like Tony Soprano was going to get divorced, and I'll
Right.
Yeah.
connect it. And what somebody said is go to every high price drug, every high price
Divorce
price
Lawyer.
divorce lawyer in town, and talk to them about your case. And then his wife couldn't go to these
Yeah, I
people.
remember that.
Drug companies probably do the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Just give this guy a little piece of the pie to do this and that, and you probably have a hard time making a case because nobody can take it because I've had dealings with the drug companies, or
Because-
I've had dealings with McLaren
Conflict.
Hospital.
Conflict of interest. I
Right.
can't do this. I'm already a representative for this group or for that group. Yeah, I mean, we're screwed. I mean, it just goes to a little person on the outside is screwed. The only way you can prevent that is there's no way to
Well,
prevent it
they
unless
need
you
to be
become part of the
broken up.
player.
I don't think McLaren Hospitals should be able to own all or as many hospitals in the state of Michigan they do in Ohio.
I don't think the
Period.
quality. I don't think the quality's
No,
helped
I mean,
out by
how
that.
many little small hospitals we had? We had St. Joe's, we had Hurley.
Aesthetic.
Yeah,
What else do
we had FOH,
Flint after
Memorial.
Osteopathic, Flint Memorial.
Flint General.
And now what do we got? We've
Yeah,
got
McLaren.
Ascension, and McLaren.
Right.
Right. And essentially just sold out to Henry Ford.
So
So
yeah, that's another conglomeration. I mean, Henry Ford. I mean, I don't see how that was supposed to be like. He started that initially, the hospital probably to help the poor and stuff. So he had a hospital connected to his name.
Well, just
But-
like
Yeah, but they
okay,
take- go
his
ahead.
foundation got bastardized, just like Mott Foundation
yeah.
got bastardized.
Yeah, because they get the
it becomes all about money.
Yeah,
After a
that's-
while. And medical and medicine is all about money. I
it's
hate to tell you, but that's the one thing in this world that you can't
But-
that people don't think you
But
do
don't you
without.
think? Yeah, I mean, why should there be a big corporation that owns a bunch of hospitals?
there should be.
And you can easily cover stuff up because, like I said, you got all these corporate doctors. They're not private doctors anymore.
No.
All the McLarens and Ascensions buy these doctors up and put them into practices.
Was it in the 90s, 80s, 90s, last part 80s, first part 90s? What McLaren did was went out and bought all these different
Right.
doctors' offices.
Right.
So now you can't
Right.
even, and these doctors don't even have rights to even go in to the hospital anymore. Remember when in the 80s and 70s, 80s?
Yeah,
When you were sick, your
doctors
doctor
don't have
actually showed-
privileges
Right.
in
They don't
certain
have
hospitals.
Yeah, so
you
now
can't. I don't think you could be a private doctor. Where's a private doctor going to go if he does practice surgery or whatever,
you can't start.
or he
anywhere.
wants to do rounds with his patients? Do you think the McLarens are going to let a private doctor come in to see his
No.
patient?
No, and another thing is true. Say a patient had bad treatment, they have a lawsuit going on, and now something else comes up. They go there like, "You're here." They say, "We're not going to let you in here." They can deny them admittance to the kids, getting their health care. So I mean, this is not good. I mean, this conglomeration's buying up the health care. It's not.
And
But
also,
pretty soon it buys up to buys up to buys up. Somebody somewhere one day is going to control everything across
Right,
the board.
and the biggest thing that these hospitals have going for them is oncology.
Yeah, cancer. Yeah,
And we talked about it. 90% of an oncology doctor's money or whatever the money from his practice comes from
Insurance.
from cancer treatment.
Yeah.
Well,
Chemo and-
chemo.
yeah,
and
Sorry.
radiation.
Yeah, I just had a friend. I just had a friend who died of cancer, and I had hopes and stuff, and he's taking chemo, but
But they pushed him
I
to the
pushed him.
extreme, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. I think they pushed him to the extreme. I think it probably was detrimental.
Gave
to
him
his health.
hope. How many times did he call you with hope?
Yeah, every time he come back from they drew blood or they did some kind of a test, it was coming. The numbers are looking good. The numbers are looking good. He
And then
died in
also-
August. He
and
died
then
in
all of a
August.
sudden they don't.
Yeah, he died in August. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's such thing as good hope or if false hope. I don't know if there's such thing as
Yeah,
good
but
hope,
if
bad
you're
hope,
gonna
I don't know.
torment a person, how many times did he go? I mean,
How many times?
how many times a week did he? 3 or 4 times a week he was going for treatment.
He was going for treatment like at least once, but he was going on Ann Arbor. But then he's going to other doctors for other checkups more locally. and
But I'm
stuff, yeah.
saying,
But
his-
for chemo, you got to go at least twice a week.
Right, twice,
2 or
yeah.
3 times a week.
Right. So I
So
mean,
then
he was
you're sick for 2 or 3 days afterwards.
yeah. So basically, he was like sick. He was sick to his stomach. He couldn't eat, and I mean, he was a small.
but they
person
pushed
anyway.
him until they couldn't push him anymore.
Yeah, then he just-
especially when I don't want to go into because I don't want to get too personal
Yeah.
with put people's information out. But it's just disgusting. I've seen it more than once, and I know you have.
Yeah. There's a guy in the neighborhood. He was diagnosed with some form of cancer.
And
They
he said,
recommended chemo.
"Never mind." Didn't
And
he?
yeah, and he's that was 10 years ago, and he's still alive.
Yeah.
10 years ago. I mean,
My cousin denied it, and he said, "You know what? Just give it to me." And you know what? Because he had mouth cancer, and they're, "Oh my God, we got to cut
Gotta
that
cut it
cancer
out,
out.
yeah.
We got to do all this stuff. Got to go radiation." He said, "You know what? Here's the deal. Either I'm going to live or I'm going to die. I'll just take it my way. I'll live healthy."
Mhm.
And you know what? The man, 20 some years later, is still living.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not saying. But
Well,
it's a
okay,
big
but
pharmaceutical.
people-
Is a big
the-
dive for money.
The days of the doctors not being infallible is over with, especially with the internet. And you can go and find out. You can look up a drug on the internet.
I
I
think-
think people are starting to push to find out
Right.
what's going on with it.
I think Fauci was the big part of that. I think Fauci, being such a dumb idiot, was the one where everyone's
He's
going,
pretty
"Look at him."
smart because he's
No, he's smart.
He's got
No.
billions of dollars.
Listen, but I'm just saying what he did to people across the
no,
country.
it's what they let him do to our country. He didn't do it by himself.
Well, no, but come on, they made him man. They put him out there, let him throw balls at baseball fields when everyone else couldn't go to a baseball diamond. I mean, they let him do a million different things. So whoever let him do that, and that's the one
Yep.
thing I look at the one past administration with Trump. You know what? Trump could have stopped it. at that. He could have said, you know what,
He
sit
would have
that
been
man down.
screwed.
He was-
screwed either way.
He was
even
screwed either way.
If he mentioned anything, they went after him. I mean, you talk about other alternative,
Oh, they
types of
started
treatment,
already.
ivermectin or whatever. You can't. It's a deadly poison.
It's a horse medication, and come to find out, they've been using ivermectin as a people
Yeah.
Medicine for
medication
years.
for
Years.
years and years.
Well, I used to give some dogs that are sick. We give them penicillin. Does that mean that was just distinctly just a dog canine medication? It's ridiculous. There's a lot of crossover. They're mammals. They're going to have a lot of the same things. They're going to be responding to the same thing, to the same to the same drugs. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, you got to look at the structure. I mean, the reptilians might not, respond similarly, but I mean, it's ridiculous. And that's what the thing is. There was almost like an infallibility you brought up. I mean, and the doctor says this, and they spoke from on high. Well, my dad always said the license was to practice. They didn't have to get it right. They can always bury their mistakes.
That's true.
They're okay.
Well,
whoops, we
now
made a
they really
mistake.
can. Now that they're corporatized,
Yeah.
I mean, now that you're a corporate mouthpiece,
Yeah.
that's all the doctors are. They're doing.
They
They're
get
pushing
paid.
the drugs
But
and
they get
doing
told.
what they're told by the corporation that they work for.
Right, exactly. I mean,
I mean, are there? I don't even know if there's private doctors out there anywhere
no, I don't know.
other than chiropractors.
That's about it. I mean, I know that there's some said people who have actually tried to go, like some doctors went the road and not trying to accept insurances, for example, and they had a hard way of doing things. I mean, they got villainized and demonized by the peers.
Right.
Oh, you're just doing it for cash only. Well, it's like, yeah, cash only, but I can reduce the prices. I can keep the prices lower by doing that because I don't have to wait for insurance payments. And I don't have to go get a credit line to keep myself going. That's what people don't know. It's a business. You got to you got two things going on when you're a doctor. You got to keep the medical aspect, the scientific and the practice and the art of medicine, and you also got to keep the business perspective at the same time. You do. So I mean, I'm not trying to speak, to defend doctors. That's the reality of being a
No,
doctor.
and the way it's coming, the way it's
But
becoming,
again,
though,
but
it
it's
won't be that way.
corporate, so
Yeah.
they don't have to worry about their practice is what paid for by the corporation that they work for.
And it gets
They
told
don't
by the
have. There's
corporation.
there's no doctors with private practices except for the one on Richfield Road. But how old is that guy?
Well, it's like I don't know. I mean, not the one I go to. You think, right?
On Delaney,
Oh, I don't know how that guy is.
there was House, I think, was in there, and then Zelko, and then I can't remember. But anyways, but I'm saying there's not that. There's probably not. You can't look at a phone book anymore.
No, you can't.
There's no such thing. But I
If you go on
if
Google,
you tried to Google it,
Right.
I'm sure that it'd probably be pretty hard to find a private doctor.
Well, see, I remember my mom talking about years ago about the osteopathic doctors are scorned by the medical doctors, MDs. And then they established the Flint Osteopathic Hospital existed because a bunch of osteopathic doctors got together because
Right.
they weren't allowed to practice their type of medicine or that was frowned upon or heavily scrutinized within regular the structure
Because there was a
hospitals.
little bit of holistic medicine
Right.
going on there. There's a lot of preventative, especially with chiropractors.
Right.
That rather than try to push a drug on you, maybe
right.
some manipulation of
spinal.
your back or your shoulder or whatever
Right.
would help. Try that first before pushing drugs.
See, that's why my mom preferred the the osteopaths. And see, I kind of grew up in a person who my mom had like a lot of doctors in her family and MDs. I think there was like 15 last count before she passed away, and she didn't trust them. I mean, because as soon as they become doctors, they're no longer associated with the rest of the family. So, and then she also saw that they just pushed her as drugs, and she even saw that. I mean, she goes, "I took this medication, it killed me." She had a lot of sensitivities to antibiotics. And she couldn't take this one or that one. There was like, I don't know, I can't remember which one she could take, but she had the support now. I mean, this ability to see through crap, and she didn't lionize. She didn't have this ultimate respect for anybody in position of authority, and she questioned everybody.
I will tell you one thing: if you do that now, you could put uncompliant on your file.
Yeah,
I did that for like 3 years because I'm like, why am I taking this pill? Because unless you give me a really good reason why I'm taking this pill or this shot, I came off with a shot and the doctor got pissed off at me. And I looked at him like, why am I taking a shot? I'm taking this shot and this shot. This shot lasts me 12, 24 hours, right? And it keeps me somewhat similar. But the only thing that's causing me to have this problem is because of this pain over here. And you haven't done a thing to address that. You just keep putting me more and more shots that give you more insulin.
Right.
Well, insulin gives you a steroid. Guess what steroids does? This is why people with diabetes, when they have to take shots and all this sort of stuff, they start gaining a lot of weight because it's got steroids to it. We spent years going this back and fight with this, and people say, "Oh no, they don't have them." Yes, they do. And the problem is those steroids actually help. So the problem is that if you're a diabetic, the one thing you need to do is keep your weight under control
Right.
and get it down below where it needs to be so your insulin level can go through it. Guess what? You get these doctors who are sitting there, like Steve said, they get pushed by the one person about push, 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 push. We were getting more and more freaking, I was getting more stupid pills sent my way through the VA and through private that I was like, what the heck is this? And so you start asking a question, you do that, they put on your file uncompliant.
Yep.
And then it's like, yeah, we ain't gonna touch it, you know.
I don't know. Speaking of compliant, you were telling me about tomorrow during the they're
Oh, yeah.
may have a special guest during the
Yeah,
Army Navy game.
tomorrow.
The Army Navy game,
The Army Navy game tomorrow.
not the
which
Navy Army. game.
the Army won last year. I will give you that, and then we'll talk on Monday when the Navy wins. But anyways, tomorrow-
if Steve won't try to run away from it, when
Steve and I I don't think
I don't
it's-
watch football.
Yeah,
I don't either.
I'll watch it, but it's the only game I actually watched all year. But anyways, here's the deal: Senator Vance and Donald Trump is actually bringing
Vice
Daniel
President elect JD
Yes.
Vance.
Vice President elect. I apologize. I've called him JD Vance for so many years now. It's not funny. For Vice President JD Vance, which is a really good thing to say. Vice President JD Vance is now bringing Daniel Penny to join him and former President Trump at the Army Navy game tomorrow.
Former, future.
the future, the future, Jeff.
But anyway,
Yeah.
what do you think about that, John?
I think that's great. I mean, I think that I think he is a hero. I mean, Penny deserves some kind of. He certainly didn't deserve to be pillared like he was and put on trial for what choking all or killing this guy. He didn't do it.
Did either of you see any of the interviews that he did? Or
Yeah.
no? He's the guy. You can tell that he didn't. He's just a normal dude. He
He's a nice guy.
He doesn't want attention. It probably gives him anxiety.
Yeah, he wants to go back and finish his architectural degree and get out of everything.
But
That's
I
it.
don't think he's going to be able to.
No, I
think this changed his whole life.
I think he's gonna move out of.
He's going to
might get out of New York.
no. I mean, he's in the spotlight, and he's not going to be able to disappear and go back into the woodwork.
Well, George Zimmerman eventually. I mean, you don't hear about him too much. The one that did the.
But he did
shooting
a lot
for-
of stupid things.
Yeah, he did later on. He
afterwards.
did.
Right.
Yeah, but he kept on, and they kept on falling around deliberately. I mean, when you're being watched all the time, you're going to get intensified. You're going to screw up more.
But what do
often,
you
I
think? Is just like a big screw you to everybody by inviting him?
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
I think it's
Or
a
is
big-
it like showing them that the media and Black Lives Matter that they don't matter,
matter.
anymore? Because they were really trying to push. I don't know if you've seen I'm sure you've seen it by the big guy and the little
Yeah.
Yeah.
short fat lady
Yeah.
saying how disgusting the United States is and that a black man can't get a fair trial even if they're murdered.
He wasn't. He wasn't on trial.
It wasn't disgusting.
Yeah.
No, but what they're saying is the more or less said he was lynched.
Oh, gee.
It was disgusting
Yeah.
what these
Oh, I know.
people were
They-
getting
Oh, I-
away, and the media's letting them say it.
So because they
and
don't.
they don't push back on it.
No, there's nobody asking them questions, especially when they're saying that he choked them out and suffocated them and killed them, and that's not what happened. He was a lot. What is the guy's name again?
Oh, Neely. Yeah,
Neely.
Yeah.
Neely was alive when he let him go,
Yeah.
Well, just like Derek Chauvin. I don't like Derek Chauvin. What he did with George Floyd. He stood
but it was
the way.
approved.
Yeah.
It was approved that what he was doing by the police department.
Right, and
that putting his knee on him.
Right.
It wasn't on his neck.
All I know
mean,
is
it didn't look good.
No, it
but,
didn't.
But it was approved by. It was in his training.
A lot of
He
things.
got screwed over.
He was tried by the public.
Yeah.
He was tried by the media. If they needed something, they lit him on fire.
But it's time. I mean, the idiocy is over as far as I'm concerned. The grown-ups have moved in and they're taking over, and tomorrow is proof of that with Trump and JD Vance and Neely. I mean,
Penny.
Penny at the football game tomorrow and showing him for the hero that he is. He's possibly saved lives.
What if he didn't do that? Nobody ever goes to that point. What if he didn't try to save that person's life?
Well, but it's
How
not
many
really
people
him.
have
I
been
mean,
dead?
what about these chicken shits that were there helping him,
But they don't say
and you
anything
don't
about-
know their names, or they haven't come out in public and say, "Hey, wait a minute, he's not the only one that we helped too."
Yeah,
Right.
they were chicken shit. They weren't chicken shits for helping him out, but they were letting him take the hit totally on his own. Yeah, they're chicken shits
Well,
for that.
they
Yeah,
didn't want Bragg to go after their asses and throw them in jail too.
I mean,
I mean, that's the whole thing. Bragg did this exactly the way Bragg does it. He wasn't going to take the thing on, and then Al Sharpton called in, said this is going to go on to it. He thought, okay, this is a great way to get my
This
career
is
back
what you
going.
think happened.
No, yeah, you could pretty much you could
You
think
think
it,
this happened.
yeah, but you could connect any.
I mean, but
time
you're
from it.
saying it like you know.
No, I don't know that because I didn't sit down and talk to Bragg because you have to go to the biggest buffet station to find him. But anyways, Bragg got a lot of his thing. He wanted to show he was tough on crime. But you know,
Well,
the
look,
thing is,
look what he did
what
to the
did-
bodega guy who the guy was at knife point, and,
Yeah,
and he
he-
took him out, and he got him. He tried him for murder.
and he was a black guy
Yeah.
that was killed. And so what would happen if this guy would have got killed? What would Bragg done then?
Right.
Would Bragg said, "Well, hey, you know what? It's a problem." And I'm getting tired of hearing about. And I'm sorry, but I am. I'm getting tired about hearing about how it's bad and hard for one side and the other side. Yes, there are some things we need to talk about when it comes to issues where people get along and everything. But you know what? Let's deal with one thing. This man, if he didn't do what he did, could have possibly some people could have been killed.
right.
More people than one person. I'm sorry that Neely died. That's a tragic thing in anything. But here's the problem: the people are standing up saying that big fat guy that was sat there. I don't know
The
his name,
BLM.
the BLM guy
Yeah.
who said that we need to get people in the streets and go after this. You know what? Somebody just take that person
He
out.
said we need our own vigilantes to
They
stand.
do
up.
have their own. It's called the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
No, Black Panthers aren't like that anymore.
They used to be.
Well,
Well,
I'm
actually, the
saying-
Black Panthers did some stuff. I used to
But
hate
They're
them.
not an active group like they
No,
were.
no.
No, but this guy's calling for
Well,
what
there's-
he's calling for is
But,
to
you,
burn
but you're
things
saying
up.
they do have a group, and it's the Black Panthers, which is not.
No, that's like all I know is that they have several groups that actually consider more legitimate. I mean, if we respond to some say a bunch of blacks did something to whites and we reacted to it, calling for the same thing, they'd say that was vigilantism and also revitalizing the Klan. Well, the Klan doesn't exist with any kind of effectiveness in this country whatsoever. You got a bunch of idiots who think they're part, some kind of version of the Klan. I mean, they've split in so many different directions, and they've been sued and vilified. I mean, they should be. I mean, what the Klan did was not something I could be behind. But I mean, any group that wants to stand up and speak for people who are white who are being attacked unnecessarily by the press or being like singled out for very selective prosecution, if you speak out against or try to get a white-based group, that's automatically considered
It's like
racist.
Proud Boys.
Yeah, Proud Boys. Yeah, which wasn't a
Even
racist.
though the head of the group was Hispanic.
Right.
The president. I forget what his name is. He's in jail right now.
See,
they went
for
after him.
January 6th.
Oh shit! You got
He'll be
the
out.
see the Jews have B'nai B'rith. You got the ADL, the American Anti-Defamation League. But if we have anything like that, it's connected. It's in the Hitler. They see that there's pictures of
Well, I
Hitler
mean,
on the
look,
wall.
that goes in with the NAACP was slammed by X's community notes for fake Daniel Penny racism
Oh.
notes.
Yeah, see, I like that people slammed it. I mean, I think you put a kibosh on it.
But that's not the way that it's not. It's people using facts
Right.
to slam it. It's not saying that's wrong. No, it's
They're going out with
to
the
do a
facts.
community note. You have to say why it's wrong.
Yeah.
And you have to have links to different things to show why it's wrong.
But I still think that's better than just letting that charge, fester. It's a lot better than letting it fester and get out of hand. I mean, somebody
Like
addressing that.
what the news did with letting them have that news conference, the father saying that
Yeah.
he lost the son.
Yeah, that's
Well-
fomenting. That's fomenting
Well,
riots.
Then
they
they took
were
him over
trying
to
to
CNN.
cause a riot.
Yeah.
Then they took him over to CNN.
But every news outlet played it. Fox
Yeah.
News played it.
Oh, no.
Newsmax played it. They all played it.
they all play the same. They played the same.
So you
interview,
just
but-
can't blame it on CNN. If they
Nope.
would have just left it alone at CNN, nobody would have seen it. The only reason I seen it because it was on Newsmax.
Right. The only reason I saw it was the reason why.
I mean, I just.
Well, TikTok. I saw it on TikTok that came from Newsmax.
But all I know is that I think somebody out there challenging there to that's actually could
But
cause
nobody
problems.
did.
Well, we just alluded to the notes here. I mean, I'm talking about that. I mean,
Oh,
yeah, I mean, I think
None
that's
of the higher ups is what.
well, no, they're not. Let's face it. I mean, I am tired of everybody have to look like. I've seen cop videos where the cop auto videos. Everybody says, "Well, they're not a journalist. They're not like registered as a journalist." There's no registration process for journalists. Okay.
no, reporters aren't journalists.
All right, yeah.
Reporters are reporters. The journalists are the ones that are reading the things in the newsroom
Right. Exactly.
and writing the stories. The people that go out are reporters.
Right.
They're not journalists.
Right, exactly. That's what it is. They're the talking heads. That's exactly what. Remember that song? By
No, I'm saying there's two different things.
Yeah,
There's
I know.
reporters and there's journalists.
I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I mean, I said
Journalists would be what something we're doing is where you actually go in and study the situation.
right. I was thinking. Well, another thing they often call people like us doing journalism or whatever is conspiracy theorists, which
We're
means
not.
you actually did research.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
If you do research against them, it's a conspiracy.
Conspiracy, yeah.
But if
But
you
I'm trying
agree
to
with
say
them,
that
then you're
a
great.
true journalist will write a story.
Right.
And yes, there will be a slant, but a reporter reports what they see.
Like I
And
said,
that's how it's written, is how it's reported.
basically they're like the puppet. They're like reading the script and they're handed and they got somebody hands up their bum. directing.
No.
The
I'm trying
reporter
to
is
explain the difference between a journalist and a
That's
reporter.
what I said. The reporter is like that. The reporter is basically regurgitating something somebody else wrote.
No, a reporter is reporting what they see. A journalist is the person that's in the newsroom
Writing.
reporting on what or talking about what the reporters
Okay,
see.
well, okay, let's clarify this. Who do you think has got a higher degree of accountability or credibility? A journalist or reporter?
A reporter.
Okay. See, I think the journalist should be the one to actually have more of credibility, but they should be researching their stories before they put them out there. That's what I'm thinking, but that doesn't exist.
It used to, but it doesn't anymore.
I don't think it ever did. Everybody talks about Walter Cronkite being such a unbiased source. He wasn't unbiased. He stepped up to the other side of the mic and actually spoke out against the Vietnam War. Of course, it was basically an issue that deserved to be addressed, but he wasn't always as complacent or as non-biased as people try to lead him, to hold him out to be. He wasn't.
Well, we always go back down to Water Cronkite. We always go back within the people we know. But listen, if you actually
man,
want to look at
old people like us go back.
Yeah,
to,
right.
Kids today don't go back.
But if
to
you
that.
had the media today back in World War II, we would have lost World War II.
Oh yeah, we were lost World War II because
No, because they're the state media.
No,
No, the media propagandizes the state first. Look what they've done for Joe Biden.
oh God. Now they don't like Joe Biden.
If they liked the war, they would be for the war.
I don't think so. But look at Vietnam.
I
Look at Vietnam. We basically we could have won if we had.
No, we couldn't have.
We could have. We had enough supplies.
I don't want to go into debate in Vietnam because I
Not
don't
tonight.
think either one of us know enough about it to
No.
properly do it.
But I'm saying that the news was different in World War II than it was in the Inner You are right.
I think it was
they'll say run where they actually told what they
I think it was a
run,
lot
run.
less biased than it is now.
Yeah,
Because people were, I'm sorry, the TikTok's going to get mad at me. People were smarter and more involved politically and into their
Well,
newspapers.
that's true. And besides,
And we've always had good newspapers
yeah,
to fall back on.
I don't know if you recall the Christian Science Monitor. Okay.
yes, sir.
I mean, that was like thoroughly researched. They did a great job and totally try to stay the middle course. I mean, people, of course, I don't know if it still exists or not. I guess it does, but it's mostly online, right? Online version. I mean, and people would laugh at that because Christian Science, this is a group of church and people have found kind of ridiculous, but they actually had real high quality reporters and researchers and journalists in that organization. And they did stay the course of being kind of above reproach. And I wish they were more dominant in this culture. I wish they had the money to put themselves out there like CNN
But they don't have the backing, and they don't
That's-
have
No,
the.
because nobody reads papers anymore. I don't even think people go to. I think people just go and they just want their 30 seconds
Yep.
Of news.
Clip. They want your clip.
They would rather have it in a clip than go to a site and then be forced to read everything.
One other thing is too the education level for when I was taking journalism classes in high school and in college. I took in high school. You were supposed to write at a 7th grade level. So people with a reading level of
Right.
7th grade. I think that's even lowered now. I mean, that's like 3rd grade because I mean, let's face it, because it's sound bites now. People don't have to depend on analytical skills or be able to, read divine what's in there or whatever.
But
They
no,
don't have
I
to.
think people are more savvy now today because the average person if they can go other places to find out if what that person or that report is saying is true. I mean, instantly like that.
Well, I think if people would have to be compelled to do that, and that would be the bulk of people not doing that.
I give them more credit than you do.
I'm glad you
give
do, but
people today more credit.
Yeah.
Than John does.
I
They have more. You can find out if something's true or untrue.
Yeah, but So do you think some
almost
people?
instantaneously on the internet.
But do you think many people are really felt motivated to do
Yes, I
that?
think they do.
Okay, I mean, I mean, I'd like to see, I'd like to see that flesh out. But I mean, I have a tendency to feel real pessimistic. But I think people take what's offered to them more readily now. They do have the resources, but if
And
they use them,
most of the stuff they're getting on TikTok or YouTube are people like us that are reading it or looking at
Researching
it and talking about
you
it.
might be right. I mean, it's like, how will we test that? I mean, it's a
I don't,
hypothesis.
how would you test
I
it?
don't know. That's what I'm saying. I would don't, but I just have a tendency to think that people are
I
too
mean, look,
rushed.
Trump
He won.
overwhelmed
Yeah.
because of the people that you don't trust. They're saying they don't research things. They researched Trump, obviously. It went through the bullshit,
Well,
the white noise of the
Media.
media.
well, yeah, basically totally blacking out
look,
all the blackouts that Biden engaged in. I mean,
Trump out democrated the Democrats.
Exactly, I mean-
with this time around because they were making fun of him. They were literally Van Jones admitted it that they were making fun of him by not going out and knocking on doors, by going to these talk shows like Theo Vaughn and different things.
yeah, and that's one thing I got to give Trump that because the first
Well,
time
Barron Trump and
he might have been he probably was
he
behind
does
it. Yeah.
say that that's
Barron
who
Trump
did
is
it.
the one that actually got him out to start talking to guys on his podcast.
Because he-
saying, get out there to the normal people.
Yeah, that's what, and I think that's excellent because I like to be part of that, by the way. But I mean, I'm serious because, yeah, I mean, initially the Republicans had Tennessee. He represents
They're
the
not
Republican Party,
Republicans
but they're not
anymore.
Yeah, but,
It's MAGA now. It's the Republicans. Nobody's going to vote for a Republican.
No, he's got to
No,
be.
that
If,
becomes a
if,
whole
Old
other
people might.
well, I just think what I just think I think Trump did revitalize that party and made it more relevant. I mean, I do think that, but I mean, I think people after he longer on the stage, will they maintain the momentum and getting the support behind him? That Trump enjoyed? No, I don't think so. You know,
Oh, it's going to no. Them. You wait until Doge comes to the crescendo. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end, when they end and they've done everything, there's going to be even more men because that's going to be a big 4th of July.
yeah.
Well, that's going to be good.
It's going to be huge.
That's going to be fireworks that
As
you didn't have to buy.
As Trump would say, it's going to be huge,
It's
It's
huge.
huge.
and they're going to be going off that momentum
Yeah.
into the presidential
Right.
debates and everything.
I think
That
JD.
team might be probably the best team out there.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know if that's true. We'll see.
I do. I think it is.
And
But that's just my personal
I have
opinion.
hope, but I'm not.
well,
They're not buying it.
Let's see how
I'm
it
not-
goes.
I'm not buying what they're selling. Okay.
Not yet.
well, I'm skeptical, but I mean, I just like to. I could see a parallel between the people he's going to have in his cabinet and many of the people who are the founders of this country. There's a lot of people now. If you extrapolated them being put into the future, our founders. I mean, they have the ability to. They deal in multidisciplinary areas. They've different corporations and stuff, which brings in a whole wealth of knowledge and experience that the typical politicians didn't have. The Biden administration certainly lacked.
I know this is something different, but what somebody said, and I thought was so stupid that the president doesn't control. I know he doesn't control the gas prices, but he was trying to say the president has nothing to do with the gas prices.
Yeah, to turn it against if it was a Republican in power, the Democrats is, oh, look what he's done under his office. The price has gone up. They
But what
try to
happened?
use that.
But what happened when Trump went in there?
They cut the
What
price.
happened to the stock market?
It went
It went
through the
up.
roof. Yeah,
Trump did that,
right.
Right.
And because of that, other things are gonna happen, and of course, gas prices are gonna come down because of Trump.
Well, because the thing is, the people don't realize it's a lot of things. He might not actually do the tweaking or
not-
demanding, but it's the perception
It's
of
just-
the
you
country's
can say-
stability.
It's what he says or doesn't say,
Right,
that makes gas go up or go down.
right. He's a presence, and it creates the stability. Or if he goes off the deep end, like Biden did, it creates a sense of instability, and that fosters a bad environment for a business.
One of the guys in Canada is now trying to rattle his savings.
But
Go
that's
ahead.
all, and that's all they can do because we
But-
have treaties by law that they have. They can't just cut off.
No, they
energy
can't cut
to,
it. No,
to
and they can't.
Michigan. And
But here's
stuff
the
like
whole
that.
problem: is that he can run his mouth. Trudeau's another one. If you want to talk about another issue, but that's not often. But here's the deal: what Trump is saying, these guys is, guess what, guys? We put these pipelines back online that should have been online.
Well, it's going to help
4 years ago.
Canada.
It's going to help Canada. And so this guy that's making this big rattle saver right now is going to look like a total fool within 3 or 4
And
months after
people
the
already
losing to
blown
it.
them off. I mean,
No, they blow it.
if you look
Well,
on TikTok where they posted that video that people are proud. Oh,
no, they're not.
Canada's telling
I have friends in Canada.
United States what is, but no. But what I'm saying is,
I have friends
you
in
can just
Canada.
look
tell
in
you
the
straight.
comments and people are just saying and explaining that what the guy said is BS. He doesn't have that much control to shut off pipelines.
No, he doesn't. And he was trying to explain what tariffs would do and how it would raise another.
He
dollar
doesn't
again.
know.
And I'm sitting there thinking, dude, are you an idiot?
And what's stupid is that people don't go back. Trump's first administration, he used tariffs.
Yeah.
So Trump knows what his tariffs can do.
Well,
what
I
they,
think
just the threat of the tariffs.
I think what he's scared about, what the guy is actually trying to say he's scared about, is guess what? Trump's back in charge. We can't get away with shit. We can't send our garbage to and
Oh no, those are contracts.
No,
for years down the road.
Actually,
Trump
no.
can't stop garbage.
Trump did stop.
No, he didn't.
No, he stopped. Okay. What was the one he did? He got rid of NAFTA and brought in the other one.
I
North
can't remember.
American Free Trade Agreement.
That was
That was
NAFTA.
not,
NAFTA.
That was NAFTA,
But
yeah.
then he created another one.
Alliance between
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So on that one, he actually turned around and said, guys, listen, this has got to be a lot more economically free for both the United States too.
Right.
Not that we bend over and take it in the rear end. So I gotta tell you, guess what? This Ford guy does have a point. He's a little bit nervous. Not that he has a point where he said everything he says is bullshit. But
I don't even know what he said.
He's basically gonna like he
He's
threatened.
gonna-
he was trying to
threaten-
school. He was trying to school Americans on why tariffs with Canada would be such a bad thing. Now the other side, since we're talking about Canada, why don't we talk about what Trudeau said?
I don't know. I don't care what he said.
Trudeau,
really.
did, you know, how Trudeau, who got gaslighted by Trump when Trump said, "Welcome to the 51st state,"
Right.
you know, and then the other side now Trudeau's like, "Well, what? We were hoping, we've been fighting for women's rights forever and ever, and America again did not vote for their first you know." So Trudeau's actually saying he was blaming Americans and how bad we are for not progressing
Their
Every-
agenda.
and then he said that he is a feminist. So I'm thinking, dude, okay, so you lost your man card. I swear to God, you lost your freaking man card. You're an idiot.
It's like it's okay. I can understand some guys saying they don't want women mistreated. Okay, but I don't know if that makes you a feminist because feminism actually. So I mean, the way I've always
It's doing
viewed,
your job as a man.
Yes,
to
yeah.
not let women be mistreated. It's in your, at least in your
Right.
presence.
yeah, that's exactly what it was. I mean, but a feminist actually, well, a feminist, the way I've always seen when I was a kid, basically trying to take the role of a man and grabbing it for themselves.
Changing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
supplanting
the
a man.
opposite.
Yeah.
It's making the
They don't want equality
women as strong as men.
or stronger.
But what do you think about this satanic statue in New Hampshire being taken down as quickly
Because
as
it
it
went
went
up.
up?
I think
I
that's,
think
What do you think about these statues popping up around Christmas time?
it's just to antagonize Christians. That's all it is. I mean, and
Do you think that doesn't really I think it's stupid.
what is
It's
stupid?
it's there to slap
It's
the Christians
pettiness.
in the face. That's
No,
all
I
it is.
don't think it's
It is. It's
I
intended to.
laugh as a
No.
Christian when I see it. I don't take it as a slap. I feel sorry for those people that are trying to.
I'm not saying people are offended by it. I'm saying it's meant
it's
to.
a joke to me,
Well,
and
it
I
is.
think it's a joke to most Christians. Anybody that gets their panties in a bunch because of some made up religion putting their little
Yeah, I think it's-
devil.
It doesn't.
deity,
I don't.
what is it? What's the name of it? I forgot.
Baphomet, or yeah,
It's
Baphomet.
all
Baphomet.
made up.
Well,
Behemoth.
Baphomet, yeah.
Baphomet.
Well, see, it's they're trying to. That's the thing is they detach themselves from reality. A lot of these neo pagans and these Satanists and stuff like that. For one thing, the black mass
The
never
pagans.
existed.
Well, let's be clear. The
Yeah.
pagans have nothing to do with this. The pagans are not Satanists.
Well, there's a lot of crossover.
But no, there's no crossover here. These are Satanists. They're not pagans.
Okay. But what he's saying is that there's some crossover.
No,
in
not
this.
here. This
Not-
is what we're talking about. We're
not in
talking
this
about
story.
the satanic statue being taken down.
I-
There's not any words that say pagan in the
No,
story.
but actually, I am amazed by this. It comes in New Hampshire. But what I am,
Never mind. I'm trying to. Never mind.
No, my
I think it's
thought.
time to push the button.
No, it's no. I think in this one is that it's okay if you go this route, but the problem what I'm looking at is I'm wondering why this doesn't come from California more.
Yeah, just that's one thing. I was surprised by too, but I expected that, or from I expect maybe like some other place like New York City. New York City perhaps. But I mean, I just don't understand why people wanted like I don't go around antagonizing Islam. I don't go antagonizing Judaism. I don't go around.
Who are they antagonizing? They're not antagonizing.
Well, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying
But
to
they're
do that.
not.
Okay, well,
Are you upset about it?
no, I'm not
You
upset
think
about
it's
it.
stupid, right?
Yeah, I think
I
it's
think that's how most Christians feel about it. They're the ones that think they're antagonizing people.
Right.
yeah, that's what they. I think it's like provoking a response when you're not getting a response. What they're going to run out, notch it up again, spit in your face or something. Well, I don't understand what the purpose of that behind it is. I don't. I can't get offended by it because I think I mock it. I mock that kind of stuff. I really do. I just okay, you did that. I mean, it's nothing to me. It's like a
I
little
think they want
child.
their 15 minutes of fame, but they only got 5 minutes of fame.
Right.
That's basically what it is. So, you want to talk about the Senator Todd Young?
No, what about John Stossel? Is it Stossel?
Stossel.
Challenging recycling myths as an inconvenient truth. That he actually did a report exposing that they don't really recycle.
Yeah, they don't. They don't recycle. They ship it to other countries where they have any oversight. Another thing is too, a lot of times when you're retaking and remanufacturing stuff from allegedly recycled materials, actually causes more harm to the environment than the initial manufacture of it. I mean, I was when I was in high school, we were talked about. We had the oil crisis in 1970s happen. Soon after the heels of that, in the Jimmy Carter's era, and so we were looking at all this stuff about taking reprocessing plastics and taking out the petroleum products in them and use them for fuel. Because that's a way of recycling them. And there's already the expense of that was like astonishingly high back then. It's probably even just as high now, if not higher. Another thing is too the process of breaking down stuff and it has more chance of putting stuff up chemicals and stuff like the harmful chemicals in the atmosphere than the original manufacturer did. And another thing is too, it's like oops. Okay, and I guess we're off. Okay, no, we're not. I thought that was sorry. We just had a hiccup there, but I know.
So, what do you think about Zuckerberg and Bezos pledging $1 million for Trump's inaugural fund?
I think it's like
Good.
I think it's good. I think it's like it's kind of sad. It's kind of funny because they're not like they're so contemptuous of now, and they realized, oh crap, he still won, and these people, the momentum's still going, and now if we keep off trying to be antagonistic towards them and his followers and his people, we're going to be shut out. So I think that's basically it's a peace offering. I see it as a peace offering. That's what I see it as.
I think they still want to. I think they just want to bet on a winning horse. That's it. They just want to put their money out there. I think it's a good thing. How about you?
I don't know. I think it's time to push the button.
Okay.